Chance to catch up with Randy Johnson, Hall of Fame pitcher, who joins us from Hiroshima. How are you treated over there, Randy?
Like I'm Godzilla. like I thought maybe I could blend into the crowd, and I guess not. No, it's good.
How long would it take for you to get ready to pitch again?
Well, if I didn't end my career in 2009 with a torn rotator cuff and I never got it fixed, I rehabbed it.
I was wondering if you didn't have 300 wins when you tore your rotator. Would you have contemplated trying to rehab to come back?
Well, yeah, I mean, my last year in Arizona in 2008, I ended the season, and I think I was 5 or 6 wins away. And, if I would have been 15, 20 away, well, then I probably would have considered retiring because at that time I was 45 years old. But like I said, going into the 2009 season with San Francisco, I was only 5 or 6 wins away, and I was coming off a back surgery in 2007. But 2008, I proved to myself and everybody else that I was healthy. I got through the whole year. I have thought about that scenario a few different times over the last 6 years. And so I do feel extremely blessed that I was able to get my 300th win before I tore my rotator cuff, because had I tore my rotator cuff before I had done it, I may have been like at 298, 299, and that would have been really unfortunate.
He's Randy Johnson, Hall of Famer, joining us from Japan, Dan Patrick Show. When was the first time you realized you could intimidate hitters?
I think when I probably got a little bit of control and some consistency. I think prior to that, I was just, anything that I was throwing was just, not deliberate. It was just a matter of having no control over a fastball when I released it. And whether they were intimidated or scared at that point, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was more thinking about, just trying to throw strikes. But then when I could start learning how to throw strikes and understood back when I played, you could throw the ball inside and underneath someone's chin. Now you might get a warning or, thrown out of the game. But it was all part of the game well before I played. And even when I was playing, it became part of my sequence of pitches when I started having control of my pitches, every once in a while, throwing a ball under someone's chin and keeping them honest was obviously important and part of the game.
I was thinking about you when we were going to have you on. I saw Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters, and they did the cover of Rush's Tom Sawyer. And, I saw at your jersey retirement that you got the a drum set replica of what Neil Peart uses with Rush.
Yes, yeah. It's his 30th year anniversary drum kit. Dave a little bit from my Seattle days. I was with a good friend of mine, Kim Thale, the guitar player of Soundgarden, and we went to a small little club that may have been like in 1990, 91, and we went to a little club that he took me to, and it may have been one of Dave's first shows on the drums with Nirvana. So I've run into Dave a few different times. In 2007, I was actually back in London. I got to go to the Zeppelin reunion show, and Dave was there, and I think that had probably been the first time I'd seen him in ages. And, we had talked about that, about running into one another at that small little club back then when he was with Nirvana. But, he went on and has done some amazing things with the Foo Fighters and his songwriting and his other appearances with other artists and things like that. Incredible. And
did you understand how big Nirvana was going to be when you saw them?
No, I think they were just part of the scene that was like everybody else up there. I was seeing Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and a band called Mudhoney and band called Tad, and none of these bands were really, really big outside of the Seattle market at the time. They were still playing in small little clubs, but Soundgarden was the first band in Seattle to get a major record label deal. But at that time, it was just part of the scene. It was kind of like when I got there in '89 with Seattle after being traded from Montreal. Hearing the buzz about Starbucks coffee. Whoever thought that Starbucks would be where it is now? And here I was in Seattle, drinking coffee right there at Pike Place Market, the first Starbucks store. Who would have known back then that it was going to be what it was? Well, whoever would have known that Nirvana was going to be the way they were, or any of that music that came out of Seattle.
If I said, put yourself on the mound as a musician, were you a lead singer? Were you a drummer? Or did you pitch like a lead guitarist?
I think I was probably a little bit early in my career. I was probably Keith Moon playing his drums but pitching. A little bit erratic and a little bit like Animal from the Muppets. And then I think as time went on and I was able to fine-tune my mechanics and really be able to start throwing strikes and like that, I probably became a little bit more like a John Bonham.
Nice. I don't know if you remember it. I certainly do. When Luis Gonzalez and Mark Grace, they said to me, we were in the locker room with the Diamondbacks, you were pitching that day at Wrigley, and Grace and Gonzo said, hey, go up and say hello to Unit. He loves to talk to people on the day that he's pitching. It didn't go well, Randy.
Hey, Gonzo. Dan Patrick saying something about when I was pitching in Chicago, you and Gracie told Dan Patrick to come up and talk to me on the day that I was pitching.
He did.
We're here eating at an Italian restaurant in Hiroshima, and Gonzo's in there, so I had to run that by him.
Oh, you looked at me. You didn't say a word. I said, hey, Unit, Dan Patrick. You stared down at me, and then I think you went, And then I looked back, and Grace and Gonzo.
Well, you know what, Dan? I'm trying to run down a lot of hitters that I may have pissed off, and some of the reporters, and it's no hard feelings there, Dan. That was just part of me being me. I guess that saying of Manny just being Manny. Well, that was just RJ being RJ on game day, and definitely not the same person. That was kind of just the way that I was wired on game day, and I suppose if I would have been a starting pitcher, there's no way I could have been like that. But being a starting pitcher, and pitching once every 5 days, and especially when, I was able to start throwing strikes, I really wanted to get the most out of my ability, and that's the way that I saw, for me anyways, how to do that was to be pretty serious and after a while, I just really felt like an organization, teammates, and fans were really counting on me to go out there and do what I did, and it was a lot of fun. Not saying I went about my business the right way or the wrong way. It was just the way that I went about it, and I learned different things over the course of 22 seasons, and added and subtracted over the years, and just really thankful that I was able to play that long, and things turned out the way they did.
Have fun on the Goodwill Tour, and smack Gonzo for me if you can, Randy. Thank you.
I will. Right upside the head.
Yes. Smack him a couple of times. Thank you, Randy.
All right. My pleasure.